We live in a world full of distractions and constant worries, and it's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking. Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, reminded us of the fundamental truth. The power over our minds resides within ourselves. We cannot control external events, but we do have control over how we react and process those events in our minds. If it's your first time on my channel, I ask for your help by subscribing and liking the video so I can continue creating more content like this in the future. Stay until the end of this video. The last piece of advice to overcome overanalysis will invite you to deeply reflect on your life so far. Join us throughout the video and discover a revelation that will change your perspective on your own journey. The common experience of a mind filled with noise and incessant thoughts is something we all share at some point in our lives. The frustration of being trapped in an endless cycle of rumination, the indecision that paralyzes us, and the feeling of being overwhelmed by constant analysis are challenges many face. The problem with overthinking is that it traps us in a state of constant worry about the future or the past, instead of allowing us to fully enjoy the present. We find ourselves stuck in a whirlwind that prevents us from making clear decisions and living with serenity. Change your perspective to gratitude. Our minds can be deceptive, often leading us into a labyrinth of overanalysis about what we lack, what could go wrong, or what we haven't achieved yet. This endless loop can leave us feeling exhausted and dissatisfied. Overthinking often arises from a focus on the negative aspects or what has not yet happened in life, overshadowing the good things already present. Seneca once said that true happiness is in the present, without anxiously depending on the future. This Stoic wisdom urges us to shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance, from overanalysis to gratitude. It's about recognizing the value of the present moment and the many blessings we often overlook when we are busy worrying about what is to come. The practice of gratitude takes us out of the ruts of our minds and firmly plants us in the rich soil of the present, where life truly happens. To make this change, start by acknowledging 3 things you are grateful for each day. They don't have to be grand, just genuine, as simple as a delicious cup of coffee, the comfort of your favorite hoodie, or a message from a friend. This simple practice can divert your mind from the cycle of overanalysis toward an appreciation for what is right now in your life. By anchoring in gratitude, you are not only silencing the noise of overthinking, but also enriching your daily experience. Gratitude magnifies the positive in our lives and can slowly transform our internal dialogue from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Over time, this new perspective can change how you face life's challenges, turning them into opportunities to recognize and appreciate even more of the goodness already present in your world. It's not just about feeling better in the present moment, but building a foundation of contentment that can sustain you through life's inevitable ups and downs. Embrace impermanence and practice letting go. Our minds often get caught in a cycle of revisiting past events or worrying about the future. This is the playing field of overthinking, where thoughts become sticky and linger longer than desired. The challenge is universal, affecting students worried about exams, professionals stressed about presentations, or anyone trying to sleep while their mind races. In the midst of this mental marathon, we can find solace in the words of Epicurus, who tells us that he who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive now. Although this quote may sound weighty, it's about the concept of impermanence, which is fundamental to Stoicism. Everything changes, including thoughts that seem so persistent in our minds. When we overthink, we often cling to our thoughts as if they were permanent fixtures in our lives. Accepting impermanence involves understanding that thoughts come and go. They are not eternal. This understanding can be a beacon of hope when you feel trapped by overthinking. Practically embracing impermanence means cultivating the habit of letting go. It's a kind of mental cleansing where you consciously release thoughts that do not serve you. You can do this by imagining a river where each thought is a leaf on the water's surface drifting away. Or perhaps see them as ever-changing clouds forming and eventually drifting away. This visualization not only provides immediate relief, but also instills a deeper understanding that the nature of thought is to change. Integrating this practice into your daily routine can transform your relationship with your thoughts. It's not about forcibly expelling them, it's about allowing them to leave. Letting go is not giving up. It's an act of courage. It means choosing not to let redundant thoughts occupy your mind rent-free. As you get better at this, you'll notice a new mental space, a tranquility that was always there but hidden beneath the noise of overthinking. Embracing impermanence is not just a technique, it's a shift towards a quieter and more present way of living. Focus on effort, not outcome. Overthinking often arises from our mind's dance with the future, its outcomes, and the relentless possibilities of failure and disappointment. This forward projection can paralyze us in fear as we obsess over the potential consequences of our actions instead of the actions themselves. We live in a results-oriented society where the end often justifies the means. This can lead us to believe that if the outcome is uncertain, the journey is not worth it. However, a Stoic quote from Epictetus provides a clear directive. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our efforts and intentions rather than the results we cannot control. This doesn't mean we shouldn't set goals or aspire to achieve great things, but it implies that the true value lies in the quality of our effort, the integrity of our actions, and the virtue with which we navigate our path. To apply this technique, whenever you find yourself overthinking about the potential outcomes of your efforts, consciously redirect your thoughts to the effort itself. Ask yourself, am I giving my best? Am I acting with good intention? Am I staying true to my values? This approach involves being fully present in the process, putting in the work and knowing that there your responsibility ends. This effort-focused mindset can liberate us from the chains of overthinking. It allows us to be in the moment, give our best without the heavy shadow of what might be obscuring our experience. It transforms our actions from mere steps toward an outcome into expressions of our character and commitment. With this shift in focus, you discover that your journey is not just a means to an end, but an embodiment of living purposefully, where each step is an achievement in itself. The last three strategies open the door to new perspectives, enabling you to tap into unexplored strengths, foster practical resilience, and navigate life's complexities with a sense of balance. Take control by redirecting your energy. Have you ever found yourself caught in a spiral of what-if scenarios, replaying the same concerns over and over until you feel mentally exhausted? It's like having multiple tabs open in your mind, each playing a loud video, and it seems you can't pause it. This mental multitasking is a distinctive feature of modern life, where the pressure to keep up with everything can lead to an endless cycle of overthinking. But like a cluttered desk, a cluttered mind needs to be organized. Redirecting your mental energy is not about finding peace, but about taking control and silencing the endless noise of what could be. Seneca, another Stoic sage, expressed wisdom with his words, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This wise advice serves as a cornerstone for taking control by redirecting your energy. To stop overthinking, begin by grounding yourself in the now. Focus on a task, even a small one, and channel your energy into completing it. This shift in focus pulls you out of the whirlwind of what-ifs about the future and anchors you in the present moment. The practical application is simple but profound. Engage in an activity that requires your full attention. It could be as straightforward as organizing your workspace, taking a brisk walk, or immersing yourself in a book. These actions demand the now, not tomorrow or yesterday. By aligning your thoughts with your actions, you are not just distracting yourself. You are taking command of where your mental energy flows. Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing thoughts, but about managing them. By choosing where to invest your mental energy, you are practicing a form of mental discipline. The goal is not to avoid overthinking entirely. That would be an unrealistic expectation. The goal is to recognize when your thoughts are not serving you and have the tools to redirect them. It's like training a muscle. The more you exercise this power of redirection, the stronger and more resilient your mind becomes. You'll find that the overwhelming tide of overthinking that once dominated you can be tamed, step by deliberate step. Each time you practice this technique, you are strengthening your ability to stay calm and find serenity amid the mental chaos. Visualize your overthinking as an external force. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with information, much like hail in a storm. Our minds fill with questions like, what if, and what comes next? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor, once said that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This quote leads us to our first technique for combating overthinking. Visualize it as an external force. It's not about turning your thoughts into enemies, but about recognizing that these intrusive thoughts are not the core of who you are. They are invaders of your mental peace. Imagine those intrusive thoughts as clouds passing over a majestic mountain. You are that firm and unmovable mountain, while the clouds temporarily drift around you. How can you defend yourself from these invaders? Stoicism teaches us to observe without emotionally entangling ourselves. You can visualize placing those intrusive thoughts in a bubble and watching them float away. This mental exercise not only lightens their weight, but also reinforces the understanding that thoughts are transient. They can only disturb your peace if you cling to them and give them power. Practicing this visualization creates a mental reflex that helps you detach and release these thoughts before they escalate into an emotional storm. As you become better at distinguishing yourself from this avalanche of overthinking, it becomes easier to see that you are not merely the sum of your thoughts. This distinction acts as a shield, much like earplugs in a noisy crowd. It's a deliberate and ongoing effort that strengthens with daily practice. When you notice yourself starting to overthink, stop and visualize that thought as unnecessary noise, separate from your essential self. By doing this, you are not only protecting yourself from overthinking, but also reclaiming your mental territory and peace, one step at a time. Each time you practice this technique, you are reinforcing your ability to remain calm and find serenity amidst the mental chaos. Create a worry period. It is a common human experience to have lingering worries beneath the surface of our minds, sometimes barely perceptible but undeniably there. These worries can hijack our thoughts at any moment, often when we try to focus on work, enjoy time with friends, or even when we attempt to sleep. It's as if our minds are a stage, and these worries are uninvited actors who won't leave. Consider the Stoic wisdom from Epictetus. If you want to improve, be content to appear clueless and stupid. This quote may seem unrelated, but it boldly reminds us to prioritize our mental peace over succumbing to worries about appearing agreeable or clever. Creating a worry period is a strategic way of giving these worries their moment on stage, but only during the encore, not as the main act. Reserve a specific time each day, perhaps 20 minutes in the evening, when you allow yourself to give these worries your full attention. During this dedicated time, delve deep into your worries, scrutinize them, understand their roots, and even write them down. What are you genuinely concerned about? How likely are these scenarios? What can you do about them? This focused session often reveals that many of our worries are like shadows, seemingly significant but without much substance. When you confront them directly, this process also teaches your mind that there is a time and place for worrying, and it's not throughout every day. Then, when the worry period ends, move on. You've given your worries their allotted time, and now you set them aside. Compartmentalizing them in this way allows you to regain control of your day. The goal is not to stop worrying entirely. That's impossible. But by containing your worries, you reduce their impact on your life. This technique is like tidying up your mental space, placing thoughts where they belong and enjoying the tranquility of an organized space. You'll likely discover that worries lose their power when not allowed to roam freely, and life becomes a bit lighter and more enjoyable. Break overwhelming thoughts into concrete steps. When overthinking overwhelms us, it can feel like carrying the weight of a giant rock. The size of our concern seems to match the weight of the entire world, and we find ourselves trapped under the dense cloud of our own thoughts. This sensation is not unique. It's a shared human condition exacerbated in a world that demands high performance in every area of life: work, relationships, personal growth, and social status. The pressure to excel can paralyze us with indecision and fear. Like a guide through this fog of overthinking, Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight is the foundation of our fifth technique. Transform overwhelming thoughts into concrete steps. When your mind is plagued by a major concern or a complex problem, the trick is to break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Ask yourself, what is the next step I can take? Not all 5, 10, or 20 steps forward, but just the next actionable move. It might seem trivial, but it's a powerful antidote to overthinking. By focusing on a single action, you channel the energy of worrying into doing. It's akin to unraveling a big knot by working on a small tangle at a time. You're not ignoring the complexity of your concerns, you're navigating through them purposefully and precisely. The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. Every small step you take builds momentum, and looking back, you'll realize that the rock of worry has turned into a pile of pebbles. You've progressed step by step. This method teaches patience, resilience, and confidence in facing challenges head-on. Suddenly, what once seemed insurmountable is left behind, and overthinking transforms into a sense of achievement and clarity. Seek wisdom outside yourself. When trapped in the whirlwind of overthinking, our minds can become an intricate maze. Every attempt to find an exit seems to lead to more confusion and overanalysis. We try to solve a puzzle only to discover that the pieces seem endless, leaving us stuck in an endless loop. A man revered for his wisdom gave us invaluable advice. Consult your friend on all things, especially on those which concern yourself. His counsel may then be useful where your own self-love might impair your judgment. These simple words encapsulate a profound truth that can serve as a compass in the stormy waters of overthinking. Stoicism teaches us that seeking perspectives outside our own can break the endless cycle of rumination. This insight can come from a friend with a fresh outlook, the objective advice of a mentor, or the timeless wisdom found in literature. To apply this principle in the modern context, it's crucial to seek the opinions of people you trust and respect. This could be someone from your inner circle or a professional with the necessary experience to guide you. Sharing your thoughts with them not only provides clarity as you articulate what's on your mind, but also opens the door to receive objective feedback you might have overlooked while immersed in the whirlwind of thoughts. This technique doesn't just offer practical solutions, but also reminds us that human connection is invaluable. When we share our burdens with others, they often become lighter. It's not a sign of weakness, but an acknowledgement of the collective strength we possess as social beings. Allowing the wisdom of others to be the guiding light out of the shadows of overthinking, with each conversation, you'll find the puzzle easier to solve. Not because the problems are less complex, but because you're no longer trying to solve them in solitude. In connecting with others, you'll discover the support needed to tackle even the most intricate challenges, and together, you'll find solutions that you might not see on your own. Practice voluntary discomfort. A powerful strategy to liberate ourselves from the cycle of overthinking is when we face uncomfortable situations or life changes. Our minds tend to create imaginary scenarios repeatedly, trying to anticipate every possible outcome and preparing for every imaginable discomfort. This constant mental rumination can be exhausting and keeps us trapped in our comfort zone, a mental prison where personal growth stagnates. Consciously confronting voluntary discomfort allows us to train our minds to handle uncertainty and reduces overanalysis. It's about engaging in small, chosen actions that take us out of our comfort zone, teaching us resilience and adaptability in the process. To integrate this practice into modern life, start with something small, like taking a cold shower, sleeping without a pillow, or walking instead of driving. Do something that disrupts your usual routine and sit with any feelings that arise without judging yourself. It's essential to understand that this practice isn't about punishing yourself. It's about demonstrating to yourself that discomfort isn't as terrifying as your over-analytical mind portrays it. Voluntary discomfort has a paradoxical effect. By routinely exposing yourself to the uncomfortable, the unknown becomes familiar, and your mind learns to calm down. You become less reactive to change and more focused on what you can control, your responses and attitudes in challenging situations. This powerful shift not only reduces overanalysis, but also builds an internal core of strength and resilience unaffected by life's natural fluctuations. As you practice voluntary discomfort, you become more capable of facing challenges, accepting the unknown, and finding peace amid uncertainty. Over time, this practice provides a profound sense of confidence and inner strength in all facets of life. Reflect on the transience of life. When caught in the storm of overthinking, it's often because we've zoomed in too much on the minute details of our lives, losing sight of the bigger picture. our thoughts become a tangle of what-if scenarios, making even the smallest problem seem insurmountable, consuming our mental space and energy. Seneca once wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied but wasteful of it." This reminder prompts us to contemplate the fleeting nature of our existence. Each moment spent on overthinking is a moment not fully lived, a portion of life left unsavored. Stoicism encourages us to regularly step back and consider our life as a whole, recognizing that many of the things occupying our thoughts are transient and, in the long run, insignificant. When overwhelmed by your thoughts, pause and ponder if this moment of overthinking is truly worth the limited time you have. Reflecting on the transience of life helps us naturally prioritize our experiences and concerns. This isn't an invitation to become somber or indifferent, but rather an opportunity to appreciate the present and focus on what truly matters. It's a potent antidote to overthinking because it aligns our attention with the present, fostering an appreciation for the now and lessening the weight of anxieties fixated on the future. It allows the ephemeral nature of life to be a source of solace rather than anxiety, enabling you to paint vividly on the canvas of presence and engaged living.